awful, but they were very friendly and nice and all that.
Okay, I don't think anybody cares, so let's move on.
Fine.
All right. Okay, where were we up to?
Vice. I've already talked about it. Did you like Vice?
Bloody brilliant. Loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Why?
Why? Well, it's right up my alley. Let's face it. It's like, yes.
I looked at it and went, oh, it's political. Paul's going to love it.
Going to love it. Okay. It was a...
Now, before you start, I'm going to be rude.
You don't have to wait for me to start. You usually are before that.
I had to ask you whether Dick Cheney was still alive.
Well, I didn't know for sure because he had in this film.
Well, I thought they're not going to bring this film out, are they?
It was re-emphasising the whole way through the film just how fucked his heart was.
Yes.
Yes. And I like the little turn where the guy who's commenting the whole way through.
Oh, yeah, by the way, there's spoilers, blah, blah, blah. Go.
Now, can you see why I said at the very start when we started this whole project in the first place for people to go and watch the movies so that we could talk openly and plainly about the films?
Okay. Anyway, keep talking. Go back.
Who is right? I just want...
No, you're not right.
I just want to hear it from you.
No, I'm never going to say it. You're not right. No.
I'll take that as a yes. Then.
No.
All right, so, look...
Oh, by the way, he is still alive. He is still alive.
He is still alive.
Which is weird because normally they don't make these sorts of films till after someone's passed away.
I don't think you can kill the devil. I think Dick Cheney's as close to the devil as you can get on this planet. He's a bad man.
Anyway,
yep.
Were you saying you liked that part when?
Hey?
You liked that part when?
Oh, no.
The guy narrating.
Right. Oh, yeah, when he got hit by the car.
Gosh, I jumped. Literally jumped.
Yep.
Because it was just so, you could tell something was going to happen.
But
it was shot in a way that still made you jump.
I just thought it was so ironic that this normal guy was,
The one, you mean the soldier?
Well, he had to go to Iraq and he kept getting dragged through all the way through Dick Cheney's life. Things were directly affecting him. And then at the end, Dick Cheney got his life at the end of it and said, thank you very much, and I'll just keep going. Like some people are just vampires. And
I loved how, because he's narrating it, and then suddenly at the end when he's got his heart, he's turned to the camera.
And he calls it his new heart, and I'm still not real happy about that, even though he's dead.
He could have said, donated by me, but,
Yes. Yeah, look, I just... Yeah. People like that.
It was really educational. I mean, you're aware of those things occurring, but seeing it in this sort of light, whether it be true or not, is very interesting.
What do you mean, if it's true or not?
Well, remember they said it can't... at the very start.
The closest approximation that they could work out, because the man was such a secretive...
person.
Fuck. But anyway... I don't like the guy. I never have. I always thought he was...
How can you like someone who starts war and...
There are some people in this world who are like Mephistos, and they never do any evil themselves. They just convince everybody else around them to do evil, and he's one of them.
But
he's one of them.
It was so weird because they had actually achieved all this stuff, and he was a CEO. They were making heaps of money, and then... He could have just stopped. Like, when they start halfway through the film, at 59 minutes, they start playing like the credits sort of thing. I thought, what's going on? There's still half a film to go.
Well, I looked up at the clock on the wall and I went, all right, obviously something's going on here. And I thought they were quite irreverent about it, and they really mixed it up.
Well, the fact that he could have ended there and life would have been great. And instead he just went, no, I need more power. I need more, even though I don't technically need more. I need more.
It stopped me halfway through the film. You know when they burst into Shakespearean prose?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that really fucked me up because it sounded like Macbeth, but it wasn't Macbeth.
But the movie was screaming Macbeth.
It sounded like it, So I went off and I pulled out my copy of Macbeth and went through it. No, there's not that, no. And it sounded so familiar. And when he uttered, what was one of the things he said? Let us make flesh our bond of power. The classic Shakespearean stuff. So I went off and investigated because it really drove me crazy. I wanted to know.
Was it from a play?
No, it's not.
I didn't think it was.
No, it's not.
Because it was more making what they were discussing.
It's faux Shakespeare. They made it up on the spot, which
I think's better.
They did a good job, and it was applicable to precisely what they were. Look at the hiccups now. Sorry, what they're trying to do. So, can you go out to the kitchen and get my electricity bill
for a fright?
Yes. It's up on the fridge. I got a picture of Dick Cheney over the top of it just to, so I don't have to look at it. Christian Bale.
Yes, didn't he do a fabulous job?
Superb. Geez, he's got old, hasn't he?
Well, he had prosthetic stuff on as well.
Well, I
Makeup
know.
Stuff
but,
and
yeah, but
I don't know how old he is.
He's not as old as it looked.
No. But you got to see a large chunk of his life.
After seeing, again, The Darkest Hour, they transformed him into...
Gary Oldman.
Yeah,
yeah.
Gary Oldman into Churchill. And then watching Christian Bale being turned precisely into Dick Cheney. That was just astonishing, It's like black magic now, watching these people being transformed, isn't it?
The makeup artists and the prosthetic artists are just amazing.
So, yeah, I should give them a point for that because that was really well done.
They did a fabulous job.
They did. And so hats off to them because well done, guys.
These actors looked fabulous. Yeah.
It was. And can I just say, whoever did Condoleezza Rice... I don't know if that was Condoleezza Rice, but by fuck, it was close.
It wouldn't have been.
I just looked at it and went, oh my God, it's Condoleezza Rice, but it wasn't. It was, whoever did it, you haven't got, obviously, no. Okay, that's fine. Yep.
But you liked, and is there something you didn't like about the film?
Well, I was entertained all the way through it. It had me chuckling because it had this kind of wry humour running through the whole thing. It was horrible watching this person doing all these horrible things.
Making all these decisions. It's funny when you listen to
just
a lot of the
history. Just taking it upon himself, But knowing that, the frustrating part of it was knowing all of this was very close to being the truth. I think they did a good job on the research because, as it says, he's extremely... thinks like Sphinx, I should say. I've had one too many. Sphinx, in that he won't answer any questions or anything like that. And then when he broke the fourth wall right at the very end and said, you elected me, you put me into power, I have done what I've done, I'm proud of what I have done, If I was Dick Cheney, I would have had the last... I think they left him off the hook a lot in that, even though after all the terrible things that he'd done, he put the responsibility straight back onto the voter.
But they're showing this is what he would have been thinking.
Yeah, well...
That's what they're showing. That you're getting an insight into how this man thinks.
I realise that, but it's not just...
Because you're seeing a whole...
I understand
you're seeing
what
a whole
saying.
chunk of this man.
Yep.
And you watch it and you don't always know what he's thinking.
Sure, but at the same time, it's still putting responsibility back onto the voter.
Well, so they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Irrespective of
did
what
they
he's
vote
thinking.
him in?
He's vice president. He had to be voted in.
Okay, I thought he was selected by president.
He came in on the when the Americans vote in oh God, I'm going to get shot here. I'll probably get it wrong. So if you're in America, please forgive me. This is an Australian's take on American politics. Here we go. Brace yourself. As I understand it, when a person goes up into the American presidential race, first of all they run around. And at like they're doing right now, because they're starting the presidential race over in America now. Now, the Democrats are running around, and they've got about 20 or 30 people who have put their hand up to be, presidential candidates, and very few of them. I think there's only one from memory that has got a running partner. They've put a running partner up, and I don't think that's worked out to be a good idea. And I can't remember the names of the people who are doing that, but they usually run until, and as the race narrows, and some of them fall out for various reasons, like they've run out of money or they've not done well in, say, New Hampshire or Ohio
in their state.
Well, as I understand it, there are certain key states that have to be won. It's not. like here in Australia, we've got proportional representation. It doesn't work like that. The whole political system in America is like a hangover from pre-Civil War years, so that the South, who didn't have a lot of people, because if it was proportional representation like it is in most other countries, the South, the Republicans simply wouldn't exist because there's just not enough people who vote on that side of the fence sort of thing. You know, like the Democrats, you know, like in the last election, Trump got in even though more people voted for Clinton. You know, I think it was like 3 or 4 million people more. And there's this other layer of the political the political counting of the votes, that is the electoral colleges. Have you heard of them?
Yes. But it still confuses me how this even works.
It confuses me, and I think it probably confuses most Americans. I don't know of anyone other than a complete political hack would be able to give you a good explanation of how it really works.
I really should have looked this up properly before.
I don't think you'd understand it even if you looked it up.
I had a vague look and then went, I don't get it.
It's really Byzantinian. It really is.
Well, the fact that he could just decide that thing. Do you
I've
remember when?
I've been listening to American politics now for like 3 years, and I still can't get my head exactly around how the colleges work.
When they had this film, like in this film, Vice. When George is getting, running for president.
Yep.
They were saying things like, we're not going to bother recounting that or doing that. And I thought, can they do that? They can't do that. And it just happened, and suddenly there he was. And I thought, whoa, I didn't even understand how that worked. So
I do remember the period when September 11 happened very clearly. How old were you when it happened?
Oh. What year was it? It was 2001. 2001. I was, I think I was 17, 18.
Yeah. So, and knowing you at 17, like I didn't know, I knew you 2 years after that. I first met you when you were 19.
Yeah.
Not the most politically adept person at that age.
Oh, well, I wasn't.
No, you weren't. It's fine. It's okay. You just come.
I'm still not now.
You just come out of the sticks from Tangambalanga.
Tallangatta, not Tangambalanga, totally different.
I just wanted to see you rise up to that.
Gosh.
It's the next town over.
Sandy Creek, actually, at that stage.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure everybody's riveted to this. But
anyway.
Yes, I digress.
You're talking about, we were talking about how American politics work, and then you're saying about where everyone was.
That's right. Like, what was your impressions of it? Like,
it was horrific.
Yes. Whereas with me, it was one of those. It was a surreal moment for me. Like, we live on the opposite side of the world, sort of thing, and I just remembered it being a time where I knew that the world had changed fundamentally. Like, everything had changed. And I watched it in not fascination. It was kind of like it was terrible. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like it was a horrid kind of fascination sort of thing. And like it was 11 o'clock at night when all this started to unravel, and we sat up through the night watching it, until, when they got down to just running repeats after both towers had collapsed sort of thing. They were just running the repeats again and again and again.
As media does.
Yeah, it was getting on to about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I went to bed then. But it was an extraordinary night, and I remember it to the day I die sort of thing. But so many things followed on, and he was at the centre of all of it. Like it was beautifully laid out, and it showed that there was no need for them to go to Iraq. And that the only reason they went for Iraq, and they took the view that they took a very uncynical view, because, like, I remember at the time that there was no evidence at the time that America had to go to war with Iraq. And at the time I thought it was purely a get back at Saddam Hussein, because his father had been pissed off by Saddam Hussein, who got away with the crown jewels, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, his father had gone to war with Saddam, and he stopped at the border. And I think they realised they came away from that war and they realised they probably should have pushed all the way to Baghdad then. But they were not, they weren't ready then. If they'd done